Hey everyone, I'm Jenna with Stahls and welcome to this webinar all on the 2021 trends forecast, where we're going to talk about a lot of different apparel trends that are available to you through wholesale suppliers such as Sanmar and S&S Activewear. We're also going to be talking about print trends and heat transfer trends that's really going to help you build unique value in the different offerings that you are providing your customers for the new year. All right, so it's all about how we can make more money, and it all really comes down to all the different things that you can be incorporating into your business that's going to yield high profit opportunities, set you apart from competition, and just really show your customers what you're able to provide to them with just a heat press, right? So we're going to go ahead and dive right in because there is so much to cover today, and I'm really excited to cover all of this with you guys. So I do want to make one honorable mention before we dive in and start printing right away and reviewing all those different apparel trends. If you guys haven't checked out the 21 Looks series, I urge you to head over after this webinar to our YouTube channel, Stahls TV, where we are posting new content daily, Monday through Friday, every week for this month, 21 looks, right? These 21 looks are really easy applications that you guys can steal. That includes all the different apparel that's being used, the heat transfer, accessories, and everything you need to be able to recreate those looks. And that is really what is inspiring this webinar. So if you want to be able to expand beyond some of the things that you see here, I definitely encourage you to head over to that YouTube channel and check out all of those looks that we're providing you with. Not only is there a video on how to create them, but there also is a blog post that goes out with those videos that does a review of all the products and everything that you need to be able to recreate those looks. Welcome. I'm seeing more and more people join in. If you guys happen to have any questions throughout this broadcast, feel free to comment those in the chat, and I will be sure to revisit those at the end of this broadcast. All right. So without further ado, we can go ahead and start with our first look. So if you've been following the 21 looks, I'm sure you guys have noticed a trend. We're keeping it kind of in trend buckets, anything from performance and trends that fall under that bucket, and retail inspired looks, such as the denim jacket you may have seen. And then also just different things that can reach different markets, such as safety, which is such a huge trend right now with reflective and whatnot. And then also sports and spirit wear. That's really going to be the guidelines, or not the guidelines, but the path in which we're going to be following within this webinar and breaking out in those buckets and what's trending in each. So you will notice some crossover in some of those 21 looks, but I'll be sure to point out what products, what apparel, and everything is going to be able to reach different markets as opposed to just one specific market. Right, so the first application that we're going to do is on the cropped Anorak. And this is actually one of the first 3 of the 21 looks that I believe was released. This cropped Anorak has been such a huge hit. We featured this in our trends last year. It's been incorporated into the 21 looks, and it's also a part of this trends forecast. The reason I selected this one is because this tonal camo has been incorporated into a lot of different apparel pieces. And I love how they've achieved this. This is by independent trading company. This is sourced from S&S Activewear. And it's just really that go-to look that we're seeing in retail anymore. That tonal camo that's been trending in really high-end brands for workout apparel, such as Alphalete, Lululemon, any of those really well-known brands, right? Nike and Under Armour have also incorporated this type of tonal camo. What I love that they did about this is that they created an outerwear piece that is thin and lightweight and can still be worn to work out in, or worn just to throw over a tank top to head from the gym to the car, whatever it may be, right? And it's wholesale and printable with a heat press, which makes this even better for us as heat printers to be able to custom print this with a really unique effect to yield high profit opportunity. Now, because this is 100% polyester, that means we have a ton of different options for heat transfers that is going to print very well on this. For this application, I have selected Hi-Vis Color Reflective. All right, so in the 21 look series, we did use reflective to reach that safety market and show you how you can add color to your reflective whenever you are reaching some of those construction businesses or anything with a municipality that has that high vis reflective that's required for them to work out in low lit situations. Where high vis color reflective also strives well is in performance wear. All right, so that is why I've selected this heat transfer vinyl for this application. All right, so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and load this on to my 16 by 20 auto clam bottom platen. And what we're going to do is actually print. Actually, what I'm going to do is swap out my platen and load in the 11 by 15. As you saw, as I was loading that on, it wanted to slide off because this is a little bit too large for that garment. So I'm just going to pop out my 16 by 20 platen and load in my 11 by 15. That's going to help me isolate my print area and get it nice and flat. Now, before I load that in, I want to go ahead and test my pressure. Anytime you loaded a new platen, you want to make sure that you're retesting that pressure so that you're getting an accurate application. So the first print location that we're actually going to do on this Anorak, because I'm noticing because this has such a unique look, is there's a lot of opportunity and unique print placement, right? So we're actually going to print below the bottom seam here because that's really good real estate for this garment. So take advantage of all those print areas when you have a garment like this so that you can build more profit opportunity within it and also create a really unique look that not just anybody is doing. All right, so preheat, that's going to help us get any wrinkles out that could cause that adhesive to not apply accurately. It's also going to release those moistures. So it's nice to get in the habit of doing a preheat for all of your applications. So again, I'm just dropping that low to that bottom seam so that it's a cool, unique effect. The more that we see performance wear trend, it's really not going away anytime soon. We hear the word athleisure a lot. We're seeing performance apparel being incorporated even into business attire. So the more and more that we're working with fabrics like this and unique garments like this, we need to think outside of the box when it comes to print locations in different areas of the garment we can take advantage of. Right, so we have our first application complete. This is a cool pill, so while that cools, I'm going to flip this around and print the front of it as well. Now, I am working with some obstruction here, so with the Anorak style, there is a front pocket and zipper there. That's just the style of this type of garment, but that is a really great location to be able to add branding to. All right, so I have that same logo that was printed nice and big on the low part of the Anorak that's going to go on that front pocket as well. So I'm just going to drop that right there. Make sure I'm getting center of that zipper. And because that obstruction is there, I want to make sure that I am using my heat printing accessory, a heat printing pillow. The reason this is going to help me is so that that zipper will just sink down into that pillow, but keep my print area nice and raised for me, so I don't have to worry about that zipper causing any uneven pressure. Right? Because I inserted that pillow, that means it's going to increase my pressure when I lock this down. So I'm just going to dial this back about a turn and a half just to make sure that I'm not completely crushing the polyester garment just because that pillow is loaded in there and causing just a little bit more density. All right, so we can go ahead and take that off. And we'll flip back to the back side so that we can remove that carrier and you guys can see that finished look. Right, so whenever I peel this away, you can see that the reflective actually has a pretty matte finish, but it really shines whenever the light is hitting it. So I will hold this up so that you guys, the light can kind of catch that a little bit. And based off of how the light hits it, it really has that high shine. Now, if this were to get hit with a car light or a flash of a phone or anything, this is actually going to shine silver, right? So keep that in mind. Although we are able to get color on the garment, we're actually getting some light right there where you can see that. We can see color on the garment, but based off of how the light hits it, it will actually show silver. This is so big in performance. We see really high-end brands actually branding these pieces of apparel with reflectivity. I see it more and more in the gym every day is that color reflective type of effect. All right, so now let's go ahead and remove the branding on the front as well. All right, so I want you guys to keep in mind, although we are adding branding to this, this is considered just a Flex Fitness logo, which would be a really great seller if you are branding apparel for local gyms or performance apparel brands like this. These are two really great print locations, real big on the back, and then of course that customized piece on the front. And if you wanted to take it a step further, which I recommend if you want to just build more unique value into the garment, is you can actually custom print this location as well, because this comes up nice and high. It's a cow neck, or scuba neck, whichever you call that one. But being able to add just a little bit of logo there could even add more profit opportunity to this. All right, so we are dropping links to the products that we're using for each of our applications today. So just keep in mind, if you want to be able to grab this garment from S&S Activewear, that link is in the chat section of this webinar, as well as the product being used. All right, so really cool look. Reflective goes beyond just safety. It can be used for different markets, great for performance, and I just love this Anorak for performance as well. So I wanted to show that one again in a different color so that you guys can see that in a different colorway. All right, so that is first on the list. Second on the list for the performance bucket is this limited edition Nike garment from Sanmar. All right, so I absolutely love this. I see quarter zips more and more being incorporated into athleisure, performance wear, and this goes even into the corporate or business world as well. We're starting to see a lot of polyester quarter zips, so do keep that in mind. I feel like there is a ton of crossover there when we talk about athleisure and performance wear, although it's built in mind or manufactured in mind of someone working out in this apparel. It's not just being worn for that purpose, all right? So it goes into, it's kind of like a cross sell. You can get it into a lot of different markets. All right, for this, so whenever I consider the print method for certain types of apparel, I look at what the brand is doing, and this is a really soft, I want to say this is a water-based ink screen print here. So I want to be able to match that premium look and feel, especially when you're printing higher end items like this, okay? So I'm going with the product known as AquaTru, right? So AquaTru is a water-based ink screen print that we put on a release paper for you. So all you have to do is order this and heat apply it. You don't have to worry about actually printing water-based ink in-house. This is something that we do for you. What I love about this product as well, not only does it have that high premium look and feel that feels just like that Nike logo, it also has that charcoal backing that's going to reduce the risk of any dye migration. Right, so if I was going to print this color this garment in the color red, I wouldn't have to worry about the white part of this turning pink, right? So we see that a lot in performance apparel, especially in custom apparel. So this will actually avoid that from happening. So I wanted to keep this on the sheet because I want you to see that this is a gang sheet. I can fit as many images across this sheet as I want to get as much as I can for the price of my AquaTru sheet. So keep that in mind. We price AquaTru by this sheet. However many images you can get on this sheet, that's how you kind of break out your costing per image. All right, so I do need to trim this, and my scissors are somewhere. So give me 1 second as I step out of the screen to grab those. I'm not sure where they went or where I set them. 1 second. We may have to come back to this. I found them. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and trim this up. Bright idea for keeping it on the sheet so that you guys can see the sheet and then not remembering where I set my scissors. Okay, so this is the one piece that I wanna trim off of that, and I'm gonna do another unique location. So you're going to see, you're gonna pick up that that's kind of the trend here is unique locations. We're not going with your typical standard prints because standard prints are just a thing of the past, your basic full fronts, left chest logos, things like that. We're kicking it up a notch. We're thinking outside of the box there because we want unique placements. That's what's trending in apparel for 2021. Things that are unique and not your standard print. All right, so I'm going to unload my 11 by 15 and drop in that 16 by 20 again. This is going to give me more vision of my back placement because whenever you're working with a full back placement like this, you want to be able to see, you know, where the seams are laying, how you're getting center and things like that. The bigger your bottom platen, the easier that alignment is going to be. Right, so I'm just going to thread this on, isolate that back part of my garment. I do have a seam here. Whenever I held that up, I'm sure you guys noticed that. I'm not worried about that seam. Reason being, AquaTru applies at a medium pressure, right? So it's not going to really be too much of an issue. Also, that seam is not very thick, right? So if it's a thin seam, you, for the most part, can get away with overlapping that. And AquaTru is in ink, so it's going to sink down in to that seam anyway if there's any overlap. So to find center, I am just going based off of what looks center of the collar here. I do a lot of eyeballing when it comes to my placements. So whenever I place that, I just kind of gauge it on where the collar looks center of the platen. All right, so I'm using the platen and where this is loaded on kind of as a guideline for where the shoulders would sit if it was being worn. And then that's helping me kind of guide where I need to place that. So we're just going all the way down the back. And with screen print transfers, you do not need a cover sheet. Right, I did forget to preheat though, so I just want to call myself out on that because you want to make sure you preheat. All right, I did not lock that down for the full amount of time that AquaTru needs, so I'm just going to lock that down one more time, and then we can peel the carrier. While that is heat applying, I'm going to trim up the other part of my design. So we do want to add a customized logo to the front of the shirt as well. Right, so this is a hot peel, so I can go ahead and remove that carrier. And I want you guys to see how opaque this ink is. And I'm also going to hold it up nice and close so that you guys can also see how soft it is and how much it mimics the look of that Nike logo that we saw on the front. Right, so we have that really cool down the spine look. Really matches and feels just as premium as this Nike logo as well. That's what I love about AquaTru is it's the perfect screen print ink for performance apparel like this. As I mentioned, we are going to custom print the front. So I'm going to drop in my 6x10 platinum here. And what I like to do is actually custom print right below where the logo is. So you can see this trend a lot in some of the NFL, NBA, NHL, like coaches apparel. If you are customizing for a team and you're doing it for faculty or anything like that, then dropping the custom logo right beneath the branded logo is a really premium look. So you're taking advantage of that Nike logo that's there, that's already building the value in that garment, and you're adding more value to it by customizing that piece. Now, because I do have exposed ink, which is that Nike swoosh, I want to make sure that I am not exposing that to my upper heating element. So for this application, I am going to use a cover sheet because I do not want that to melt or ruin the look of my finished piece. All right, while that's heat applying, let's go ahead and visit comments, make sure we're not missing anything. Looks like we're getting most of the questions answered. Stacey, are there any questions that?
Yes, there were two that I flagged. So Anne wanted to know, what is the washability and durability like for AquaTru?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so AquaTru is 50 washes. It's tested up to 50 washes. That's kind of where we stop because that's typically the life of a garment. But yeah, you can throw this in the wash and dry cycle. You won't notice any peeling. You won't notice any of the opaqueness of the ink fading or anything like that. So 50 washes is what you can tell your customers. And it does get a lot of detail as well. So I'm trying to hold that up so that you guys can see that as best as possible. All right. And you said there were two questions, Stacey?
Yep. And then there was another one. So Jenny said she met you last year at an impression show, and you mentioned a supplier that you used for makeup pouches and other accessories. She can't remember the supplier name, but she recalls it having two names with an "and" in it. Can you recall what that was for the supplier?
Yeah, I still actually use them from time to time. It's Viv and Lou. And
Perfect.
you can find them through wholesaleBoutique.com. But the brand is Viv and Lou, and they do a ton of really cute accessories like that. Okay, so that is our performance bucket. Now, keep in mind, even though we are breaking things out into buckets, I want you to think outside of the box that these trends that I'm showing you and I'm forecasting for you guys, they also fit into different markets. So although I chose these two pieces of apparel for the performance bucket, think, okay, this is something I could also use for maybe a spirit wear team or a spirit team locally, like the Anorak, or maybe I can put a business logo on the quarter zip for a local business I'm doing custom apparel for, right? So just keep in mind, everything can reach different demographics, right? Okay, so that is the performance bucket. The next bucket is the sports and spirit bucket. I combine these two together because I think that they fall hand in hand. And right now, sports are hit or miss. In my area, no spectators or anything allowed for the local sports teams. Everything's being streamed through Facebook Live or YouTube and whatnot. So spirit wear, still a hot seller, especially for sports teams that need to fundraise and kind of sell that custom apparel to friends and family to raise money for their team. Okay, so this trend, you'll also see or may have already seen the perforated numbers. Okay, so I think these things are so cool. So perforated numbers allows you to get this really cool single color pattern throughout your favorite heat transfer vinyl. So this is done in UltraWeed, and I wanted to do this as a spirit wear type of application because not only are patterns like that really trending where it's a single color, but also tonal patterns. So I want to take this light blue, pale blue UltraWeed and apply it onto a light blue cropped garment. All right, so cropped apparel. We already saw the cropped Anorak. We're seeing cropped in t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, cropped everything everywhere. So I had to show more cropped. So this t-shirt I absolutely love. It's by Next Level. It's their new concert tee. I think it's concert tee or festival tee, one of the two. But it is on Sanmar. And what I like about this crop tee is it's not super cropped. So it can work for a lot of different demographics there. It actually hits right at the, I think it's called midriff. But it's low enough that it's not too cropped and comfortable for the customer you're selling to. And it's a very thin, lightweight feel, which is always sought after when it comes to t-shirts. So we're going to go ahead and load on the 16 by 20 because we are doing an oversized print with this. All right, so a couple different trends in one. So we're seeing the pattern. This is a mesh pattern within our perforated text and number here. We're doing the tone on tone where we're doing light blue on light blue. Different hues there so that it still shows up and pops off the garment. And then that lightweight texture in the t-shirt. Right, so 3 different trends there in one. So if you're taking notes, make sure you make a note of that as you're sourcing or looking for different apparel types. All right. I have our 16 by 20 loaded back in. I'm gonna adjust my pressure here. Okay, what I do love about these t-shirt styles too is they have these muted hues. And this is another big trend for 2021. We're not seeing a ton of bright colors. It's more pastel, muted types of colors. So keep that in mind as well, especially for your schools, because it allows you to just kind of mix and match different colors for the school colors. All right, just a quick preheat. Now I'm just going to take my perforated Player Perfect name and number, and I just did the year and the name of the school, basic stuff. Now, of course, this is something that I could also do for personalization, so keep that in mind. If you wanted to do a personalized name on the back, that obviously is going to add more profit opportunity for you and just creates a really synced overall piece. All right. So again, the material that is perforated there to create that patterned text effect is UltraWeed. So UltraWeed applies as low as 260 degrees. I am at 300 degrees just because we're going to be getting increasing our temperature eventually for some other applications. So I'm going to stick to that 300. It's not damaging or hurting the product at all to be applied at that. But if you do ever need to apply it at that low temp because you're working with a super heat sensitive garment, then that is a good way to do it. Just drop that drop to that 260. All right, so what I love about the UltraWeed, super thin, lightweight, very matte and very soft. Doesn't feel like a vinyl, feels more like an ink, right? So if you're looking for a go-to heat transfer vinyl for more of your trendier pieces, this is definitely the one. I absolutely love this product. All right, another really great heat transfer vinyl is Premium Plus High Tack, and that's exactly what we're going to be showing next. So keep in mind, tone-on-tone prints like that, super big, very popular right now. And we are adding more and more colors to the UltraWeed lineup so that you can do more tone-on-tone effects with that for some of those more popular colors in the t-shirt world. All right, so for the next application, we are going to be doing a pair of leggings. This really falls in line with that athleisure trend. So as I mentioned earlier, performance, you'll notice, fits into multiple markets. So this is another great example of that. So these leggings, really premium feel, honestly reminds me a lot of some of those Lululemon leggings. Has a really nice material to it where there's no see-through or show-through at all. Which is always a concern for women wearing leggings. So keep that in mind. This is the Sport Tech brand. This is sourced from Sanmar. It's a high rise, which a lot of people like. This is trending a lot in retail, and it's just a really soft fabric. Now, the reason I went with Premium Plus High Tack for this application is because of the spandex and really high stretch that this garment has, okay? So Premium Plus High Tack has a 4-way stretch, which means that I can stretch it this way, I can stretch it this way and diagonally, and it's never going to crack. It's not going to pop off or anything like that. So Premium Plus High Tack, highly recommend for Sport Tech branded leggings because of that spandex fabric that's incorporated in the fabric. All right, so for this application, I'm actually not going to use the leg and sleeve platen. A lot of people, that's their go-to if they're doing pant legs or sleeves of hoodies and things like that. The reason I'm not doing that is because spandex, stretchy. If I stretch it across that 6x20 platen, then it's going to distort how my application actually applies. Right, so I'm actually going to use a heat printing pillow because it's not going to stretch as much. It's more forgiving. So I'm just threading that down into the pant leg. And a really cool print location, if you're doing leggings, is down at the shin area on the front of the legging. So that is the area that we're going to personalize. All right, so just making sure that I have this flipped the right way. And all I have to do is just lay this right across my platen. So I'm going to be printing down here. Going to grab my transfer. All right, so again, Premium Plus High Tack, this is pale blue. This is a limited edition color right now in Premium Plus High Tack. I absolutely love this color. Again, it's following in line with that trend of the muted hue colors, right? So typically when I'm thinking of print trends, I'm keeping in mind of the trends of wholesale apparel, right? So because muted colors and muted hues are trending so much in blank apparel, then we have the ability to create that trend within our heat transfers as well. Right, so just stretching that out to make sure I'm getting an even application across that. I'm going to grab my cover sheet. What I also love about using a heat printing pillow for heat sensitive garments like this is that it's not going to create any bruising. What I mean by that is if you've ever loaded on a heat-sensitive garment and you notice the edges of the plattens created score marks or bruising in the garment, these pillows are going to reduce that from happening. All right, so I'm just checking this to make sure my edges got heat applied before I remove this carrier. Looks like they did, so the pillow, whenever this locked down, allowed that to be able to heat apply accurately. And now this is a warm peel, so I was just letting that cool a little bit before I remove that carrier. And as soon as this cools down completely, I will show you the stretch that it has. All right, this design, most of the designs that I'm heat applying today created either in the custom wizard of Stahls.com or CADWorks Live. This one particularly was created in CADWorks Live. This leopard print and pattern, extremely popular. Absolutely love incorporating that into spirit wear designs because it doesn't even matter the mascot. People love this leopard spotted design like this. All right, so looks like it is cool enough, so I can go ahead and show you the stretchability of the Premium Plus so that you guys can see that it's not cracking or peeling when it's moving with the spandex. It's almost like a balloon, just stretches very similarly to that. It's the best way to describe it. Right, very matte finish, looks like an ink, allows you to get your custom prints onto accessories like this, right? So really cool look. I like how that turned out. I think that this is a great pair. Sets are really big, which I think is great for people doing custom apparel because now you can sell things as a set as opposed to one or the other. This would be a really cool set to sell together. Bellevue Wildcats. All right, so that is the sports and spirit bucket. That is a really fun category. That's always one of my favorite markets to review, but a really great way to kind of serve that market with something other than just your typical hoodies and sweatpants and your cotton t-shirts. Okay, the next bucket is corporate/business. So we're not going to do apparel for this one because I just wanted to show you things outside of the box that, you know, aren't your typical quarter zips or blazers or aprons, t-shirts, things like that. So the first application we are going to do is this insulated mug, right? So if you're working for corporations, holiday gifts, corporate swag, anything like that, these insulated mugs are extremely popular. This is sourced from Amazon. I found it right on Amazon. It has that nice insulation in there. It's called a Simple Modern. And this is the color Moonlight Ombre, right? So ombre effects in drinkware, really popular. Anything that honestly is mimicking the look of that popular drinkware brand, Yeti, then the better, right? So a cheaper version of that, but still has that really sleek look. And we are going to be customizing that with full color decals and stickers, right? So this is a full color decal, and you can get full color without having to print it. So you don't have to worry about printing or having that eco solvent or latex printer to be able to achieve this. All you have to do is just upload your artwork and we'll send you this ready to apply. Now, the longer you leave this sticker on your hard good for, the more durable it's going to be. So just keep that in mind if you are doing this for your customers. Then just kind of let it set before you give it to them. This is hand wash only, so keep that in mind for the decal. So just like your typical sign vinyl application, a little bit more durable, has a stronger adhesive. And you don't have to worry about the colors in this fading at all. And I also love the gloss that it has, because I think gloss for these types of designs and logos just adds more value. That's very opinionated. I like gloss. I like the way gloss looks on things, especially hard goods. I think it has a more premium look. If I was just putting a matte sticker on there, I don't think it would hold as much value or look as high end. So when it comes to hard goods, I really, really do like that gloss look. But that's really just preference. But you're able to get really nice full color images through these decals, and they go across multiple different hard goods. All right, so drinkware, very, very popular. It's been around for a while. Here is another popular drinkware decal. So this was done in our single color sign vinyl in rose gold. And it is just an overall really cool effect to do a full wrap on the drink and do personalization as well. So drinkware continues to trend. I don't see this going anywhere anytime soon, especially now that we're seeing a ton of customization and personalized drinkware utilizing Starbucks cups. So keep that in mind. That's another really popular one. Those can be sourced through Amazon. And this is really just a great way to get those add-on sales. Some people have whole Etsy stores and businesses built around personalizing and customizing drinkware, right? So if it's not something that you're doing to complement your apparel, then I'd highly recommend it because it's always something that's a great way to pair, and there is no need for that additional investment of equipment. All right, you can either order the full color logo, or you can order this single color sign vinyl, or cut this out yourself if you have a vinyl cutter. All right, so really easy thing to add on in addition to whatever you're doing with your heat press. Beyond full color for hard goods, we also have full color for apparel. So keep that in mind. Full color is continuing to trend. We see it in DTG. We see it in sublimation. So it's very important that we know all of our options when it comes to full color. This is our Ultra Color Soft. This is a hybrid of screen print ink and digital ink, right? So it's almost like a hybrid of the screen print and the eco solvent ink process, right? So you're able to get as many colors as you want onto a screen print transfer. If you don't know about Ultra Color Soft yet, I highly recommend you check out the YouTube videos and see this product in action, because it is the most amazing product that I've ever worked with when it comes to full color. It's just truly phenomenal. In addition to the screen print full color solution, we also have the special effect full color. So this one falls in line with that spirit wear bucket, but we are able to get full color, multiple color in glitter, lots of detail, gradients that you can see in that paw. And that is all available through our digital uploader, right? You just upload your artwork, you select which full color option you want. Full color really just takes those heat transfer designs to the next level. When we think of heat transfers, we think of heat transfer vinyl, we think of screen print ink, all in which have limited detail and limited color. So for us to be able to add full color like this to our offering is next level, and allows you to just kind of reach that customer that's looking for something just a little bit more high end, right? And it's all done with just a heat press. So keep in mind, full color, definitely big trend for 2021. We're starting to see really bright colors, tie-dyes, things like that, all being incorporated. All right, so on to our retail bucket. This is one of my favorites, and we're actually going to be doing a few different looks for this one. So far, I've done 2 for everyone, but I have a lot I want to say about this one. So retail, we talk a lot about retail because that's what helps us keep up with trends in custom apparel. whatever the big brands, the fast fashion brands, whatever they're doing at those stores, we need to know that we can provide that for our customer as well. Because whatever they're seeing in those stores and whatever they're shopping for, when they go to order custom apparel, they want something with a similar look and feel, because that's what's being seen everywhere anyway. Right, so tie-dye, extremely, extremely popular. In the 21 look series, we showed that with a really cool metallic design. And if you aren't familiar with metallic, I'm going to show you that now. Metallic is a very mirror-like product, has a high shine, so popular, especially in retail. Okay, I see so many graphic tees and designs done in metallic whenever I'm at a mall, right? So metallic, very, very popular, great heat transfer vinyl to pair with tie-dye. I think pairing those two trends can go a really long way when it comes to yielding high profit. Another really great product to pair with some of the fleece tie-dye trends is soft foam, right? So we are going to be printing this acid wash like hoodie where it has this red and black incorporated. This is the tie-dye that I'm seeing trend more so than the spiral. I'm seeing more of this unique wash tie-dye trend. And if you aren't incorporating fleece into your offering, I urge you to do that. Fleece continues to trend. If you joined the virtual event where we did a fleece class and we teamed up with Bella Canvas and we talked all about fleece, if you didn't get a chance to check that out, it's going to be posted on our YouTube channel soon, so you can learn a little bit more about fleece, the profit opportunity that's there, and the ROI. It just really speaks to why fleece is such a big trend. And it's not going anywhere. So 2021, incorporating fleece really goes a long way. All right, so I'm going to unload the 16 by 20 and drop in our 11 by 15. And I'm dropping that in a landscape, because I want to isolate my print area. So anytime I'm working with a front pocket of a hoodie like this, I want to make sure that's dropping off of the back of the platen so that I am not getting any uneven pressure. This brand is Gildan, right? Sourced from S&S Activewear. But we're starting to see more and more tie-dye looks. And I just don't think that it's going to go down that trend scale anytime soon. Think that tie-dye became really, really big in 2020, just kind of as a stay-at-home DIY, but now we're seeing it in retail so much. All right, so load it on. I'm gonna do a preheat and test the pressure. We need to decrease that. All right, so as I mentioned, we are doing soft foam. I always like to hold up the carrier. Almost said character. Carrier, just so that you guys can see the dimension of this heat transfer vinyl before it's applied, because it's a little bit harder to tell once it's heat applied to kind of show you through camera. But it is a really cool effect, and I absolutely love the way this product feels on fleece. So my pick for the 2021 trends forecast when it comes to incorporating fleece, my go-to heat transfer vinyl for special effect is going to be soft foam, right? So I showed you the large graphic. Soft foam is a thick product, but look at the detail and intricacy that you can still achieve with this product. All right, so don't be afraid to get a little bit more intricate with this special effect heat transfer vinyl, just because it is dimensional and thicker doesn't mean that you can't go a little bit more intricate with the design. So our full front placement, I wanted to do red to pair with the red of the hoodie. noticing in retail, whenever I see tie-dyed looks like this, they're usually picking a color from that tie-dye and doing the print in that, or they're just going with a basic white and black. I think a white on this would really pop off the garment as well and kind of match those strings. But I really like the red as well. I think it has a very grungy look and pairs nicely with the grungy tie-dye. Now this is a cold peel, so I'm going to do my second print location. And I'm going to use my heat printing pillow once again for that. So I'm just taking that through the sleeve from the collar down. And now we've isolated the print area here. I'm just going to drop that right on there. So I'm noticing that logos, graphics, anything like that, this wrist placement is extremely popular. So I wanted to show you guys just how easy that is. I just cut out these two designs at once, weeded them, and now I have two print locations that I can yield a higher profit opportunity for. I've also noticed the trend of the really large back graphics. So that is another print opportunity and profit opportunity, because you can yield a lot more profit if you're doing full backs on your fleece applications. All right, so unloading the pocket or the pillow, and we can go ahead and remove the carrier. I really like showing soft foam up close so that you guys can see that texture and detail of the product. It's so hard to remove the carrier on a surface, not using a surface. I hope you guys can tell the dimension and texture of this product through the camera. I wish you could feel it because it's so, so soft. All right, now let's remove our sleeve location. All right, so pretty basic. We did the same design on the front of the hoodie that we did on the sleeve. A custom apparel brand, I forget the name, but they do a really cool graphic on the front, and then they do like a whole scripture quote on the wrist, and it looks so, so cool. And that is where I got the inspiration for this look. But I'm just seeing that more and more. So I think utilizing this wrist location can go a really long way. And another thing, and this is more design specific, but these retro fonts and script fonts and drop shadows, really, really big for graphics. So if you can incorporate that type of script text and drop shadow, that can go a really long way for some of those graphic design elements. This SVG is available for free in cadworkslive.com under our template section. So just keep that in mind. If you really like this one, you can just grab it from there. All right. Now let's go beyond just your typical heat transfer vinyl applications. We are going to do a embroidered patch. Okay. So how I'm going to do this is unload my 11 by 15 and drop in my small 6 by 10. For those of you that have to get out of here right at 4, I'm probably going to go over maybe an additional 5 minutes. So just if you guys have to run, this is going to be recorded and put on YouTube, but I just wanted to let you guys know if you have to go at 4, you'll at least be able to see some of the other applications later. There's only one more after this. All right. This is the product that we're going to be doing with the embroidered patch. This type of camo, so I showed you the tonal camo earlier with the Anorak. This military camo, which is what it was called on Sanmar, trending majorly in accessories. I see it in fanny packs. I believe the brand is Balenciaga. They have a whole like bag accessory lineup with this style of camo. So I think it's huge that we as custom printers can access this popular camo style. Embroidered Patch, love this one, especially for this type of application, because I'm seeing bright colors for logo design being paired with this camo because it really pops off of the garment, right? So I love that we have that bright yellow and bright red in this designed 3D, or not 3D, but embroidered patch. And all we have to do is heat apply it on there, okay? So we're gonna do that by isolating our pocket on there. I'm just dropping that on the 6x10, and I'm going nice and close to that zipper. All right, so we have the pocket loaded on there. This is a tricky application because there is a ton of bulk down here, so I'm just going to keep that right there. Hopefully it'll stay for me. No, all right, we'll come back to it. I do need my flexible application sheet for this application because I do want to protect my embroidered patch from that upper heating element. So I'm loading that pocket right back on there. This would be a more ideal application if I was working with the Hotronix Fusion because it does have a smaller footprint than the auto clamp does, but we're able to thread this on there well enough to get the application done. Oh, we don't have enough pressure. I'm making this so much harder than it needs to be, but I want you guys to see this application so bad because I love the way this embroidered patch looks with this backpack. Okay. Locking that down for an additional 15. I believe that if you are doing top heat only with the embroidered patch, it's a 25-second application. So I'm just going to let that heat apply. But that adhesive on there is so strong, it'll last through all the wash cycles. I know this is going on a backpack, so it's not really going to be laundered. But if you're putting this on maybe a fleece garment or something like that, then this is so off center. I apologize for the way that this turned out, but you guys get the idea. So embroidered patch, bright colors, paired with this style of camo. This was sourced from Sanmar, and the brand, I forget, Port Authority. All right, so Port Authority, hand claps for Port Authority because they killed this camo. They did great with this. And again, you can get the embroidered patches right through Stahls. Upload your artwork. We'll send you a proof of what your embroidered patch is going to look like. Very durable application. Can't pick that off at all. Looks like you embroidered it, but all you had to do is heat apply. Right, so it does apply with top heat only. If you're going to put it on a cap, highly recommend that you use the 360 IQ. That's going to allow you to get heat from underneath the cap and heat from the top so that you're getting a really nice application, nice and durable. Love the embroidered patches on caps, beanies, bucket hats, anything like that. And speaking of bucket hats, that is a really, really big trend in headwear. Seeing it a ton in retail. I actually was just at Ross Park Mall not too long ago. It's a big mall in Pittsburgh, and bucket hats were all over the place. Adidas, Nike, Puma, go into Zoomies. The bucket hats are crazy. So new era. You can see their branding inside this bucket hat. Huge, huge headwear brand. Sourced right through Sanmar so that you can also custom print your customers' logos on bucket hats, their brands, anything that they want on a cap. And if you're not doing bucket hats, I highly, highly recommend it, especially if you are doing headwear. So easy application for a bucket hat. You don't necessarily need a cap press for it. That's why I love a bucket hat. All I have to do is just drop this right on here. I'm going to grab a Print Perfect pad because the bill of this is pretty thick, so I want to raise my print area. All right, got that nice and flat. Now we're going to do the FlexStyle application. I do not have the cover sheet for the FlexStyle, so I am going to use the flexible application pad, but we do recommend using that foam pad for FlexStyle, so just keep that in mind. I could not find it anywhere in the studio today, so. All right, so there is a band inside of this particular bucket hat. I just flipped that outside of the Print Perfect pad that I placed down. And now we're just going to lock this down and let that print. So FlexStyle is another product that you can use top heat only. If you are going to do more performance fabrics like this cap here, then you would want to use that 360 IQ. It has that rounded platen. It has the bottom heat so that you're not damaging or compromising the finish of the fabric in a hat whenever you are printing a high heat application. Okay, so all I have to do is remove that carrier from the FlexStyle. And our bucket hat is complete. So FlexStyle, really cool dimensional product, has a ton of texture to it. Lots of texture, lots of color, intricacy in the design. So love that for such a high-end brand for headwear. So I think that FlexStyle pairs perfectly with new era accessories. All right. And that is our last application of the day. Stacy, are there any questions that I can help answer?
Yes, I do have a few that I saved that I received earlier. Okay. And I just want to make sure that you answered. This was in regards to the tumbler. Is there a, I could have sworn someone had mentioned it, like a seal that you can put on top of printed stickers to make them dishwasher safe? Is there something on the market that they can buy for that?
Yeah, there is. It's not necessarily just a seal that you can just stick on there. It's a process called epoxy. So if you are interested in doing drinkware and you want to secure the sign vinyl on there, everybody's just doing that epoxy process so that they can put it through the dishwasher. It's quite the process though, but I highly recommend looking it up because if you want to do drinkware, I think it's such a good little demographic or niche to get into. But definitely want to, if you want to add more longevity or quality to your drinkware, as opposed to just having a sticker on there, then that epoxy process is going to have to happen after.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then, earlier we got asked, can we sub on any of these clothing items that you showed today or just HTV?
So none of the ones that I showed today, but I do recommend a brand through SNS Activewear. They're called Sublivy, and they offer a ton of like nice dye sub polyester garments. So I do want to just say that out loud to everybody. If you are interested in sublimation, the only limitation you have is that it has to be 100% polyester. Some people use 50-50 depending on the opacity that they want in the design. But there is certain polyester that is made for sublimation, and there's certain polyester that will turn yellow if you dye sub onto it. So just keep an eye out for that. Do your research. I highly recommend Sublivy. And Sanmar is getting ready to launch a sublimation brand where it's just 100% poly apparel that you can sublimate on, and that is coming in 2021. I'm not sure on the exact date of that. I've been paying close attention to their website to see when that's going to be added to the new page. But right now, SNS Activewear is my go-to for dye sub apparel.
Oh, awesome. Okay, that's really good information. And then another question, this was the last one that I had saved from earlier. Can you just quickly list any key differences between Ultra Color Soft and AquaTru? We had a lot of people who seemed interested in AquaTru and they wanted to know the difference.
Yeah, so AquaTru is still a screen print ink. Honestly, between the two, they feel so much alike, but AquaTru is still an ink and Ultra Color Soft is still a full color digital product. So that's really the biggest difference. In my opinion, I think that they feel so similarly, but one is specific to water-based ink and the other is specific to digital. So you cannot achieve the amount of color and gradients and photorealism in AquaTru that you can in Ultra Color Soft. So, and AquaTru has a dye blocker. We are getting ready to offer a dye blocker in Ultra Color Soft. So between the two, probably just go with Ultra Color Soft because you can go anywhere from a single color to full color. But AquaTru just is that water-based ink that is highly sought after right now. So if you have a customer specifically requesting that high premium screen print water-based ink, then that's definitely your go-to if you're just heat pressing it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think that was it for questions. I did my best to answer everything in the chat box.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for attending. Definitely be sure to check out those 21 looks if you haven't yet. A lot of the things that we showed today are being incorporated into that. We're showing you where to source apparel, how to print it, best practices, and really high-end transfer types that you can use to really yield the highest profit opportunity. So I want to thank you guys again one more time for attending. I appreciate all the great feedback and you guys joining me for today, and I wish you the best for the new year.